Hello, Waswere here, back with another video of Boss Man, the series where we go for all the drops from all the bosses in the game. And with this episode, we have a new boss release, and those boss releases are the best time in the game for me. The theory crafting of new mechanics, how to do things, pushing myself, trying to learn new things, and just all around getting better. This boss was no different. In fact, I think it's been the deepest boss release ever. We're over a week after release, and people are still figuring things out. Every time you get to a new enrage band, you get walled and you need to start figuring out some new tactics. I've already had that multiple times and I'm only at 600%. Now, the dungeon itself isn't too great, but we'll talk about that more later. Collection log wise, there are a total of 10 items to get, 4 armor pieces, 3 bow pieces, 2 codexes, 1 for Chaos Roar and 1 for Sunshine and Death Swiftness, and then a pet. Based on what I've done so far, I think this is going to be a long log, rivaling Virago, AOD, and Crosis for the lengthy logs. It's definitely going to be top 5, could potentially go up into the top 3 as well, I think. Starting off, we had the 5-man team with us. This was the OGs, Arceus, Denny, Franck, and Fight Ends. We've done a lot of PVM together, and they are some of my best friends in this game, and it's a little bit of a throwback to some older boss releases. The first dungeon run was like a maze. We literally killed every single NPC in there, didn't know where we were going, and after like 30 to 45 minutes, we found the switch to turn off the wall to the cathedral, leading to the first boss fight, and the barrier was open. Looking at these clips back, we are so bad with hindsight, trying to clear every single AoE bomb, not understanding how Infernus works, and even what the different color HP bars mean. But after about 30 minutes of struggling, we blasted our way through the boss, and I'll just let the ending of the kill clip play now.
Isn't that melee?
Melee? Yeah. Oh god. There's an AoE bomb.
He's dead. It's over.
Is it?
Never mind. No, it's not.
I think
I'm
the bad. I
we
think
got
that
him.
was
I
it.
don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Woo!
We did it. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
I don't know what the fuck we did, but
We are 6th. We're the slowest, but we got it.
We got 6th place.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Let's
Did we
go.
Did we really? Let's go see 5 players. Oh my god, we are.
We're 6th.
Hey, yo, post it.
Let's go, boys.
I already posted it.
Let's fucking
But
go.
we're on 0 fucking enrage.
Oh my god. GG's.
I don't know what the fuck.
Oh,
was
I didn't bring
happening
a bank. I'm gonna grab. Are we re-rolling here?
We only.
here. Obviously, I got a Chaos Roar ability codex.
Do you actually?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You capping.
Really?
Yeah,
You're-
I'm not capping.
Screen shot.
Oh my god, go.
Did he
Should I
really?
go? Should I? Yeah, I did.
Oh my god. Go sell it. Max cash.
No shot.
Max cash.
What? Max? You think?
Yes.
Holy shit! It's sold for Max.
Oh
It's sold
my.
for Max. It's
go.
sold for Max. It's sold for Max.
Let's go.
Money.
Holy. What?
With the max cash selling price, that meant 429 mil each. Hoping that's the start of a lot of drops to come this week. The dungeon running got very boring very quickly. I think the biggest problem with this was that mobs just have high HP. There aren't any intuitive mechanics, it's just do damage and do more damage. The closest thing to a mechanic there is the healers that are thrown around the dungeon, but all you do is just make sure they're the first ones you kill in the room. Elite dungeons can be fun. Traveling through the dungeon can be fun. But right now, all the mobs are just HP sticks and it's not engaging at all. There's really no replayability. Which is a shame because the boss fight is so much fun. And spending 30 minutes of boredom to get to the boss fight is getting a little bit draining. In fact, a week after release, they've already nerfed the HP of the mobs twice. Once was the base HP, so the 0% HP. And then also how hard it scales, which was nerfed by 66%. So that's a major nerf. So they really missed the mark on this one. We got up to 50% before we decided that it was too much HP and decided to do some 0% runs instead. There is the second drop. We got a blank ability codex. We're just doing some runs through 0% Zammy to unlock the skip. A lot of teams are hard-walled at 100% in rage now, and while they're figuring it out, we're like, you know what? We're going to do some 0% runs, and we're going to get some drops like this. Unfortunately, I don't have anything yet on the collection log, but with time, I will get some. So, sold for just over 1.2, which is 248 mil. I guess I've made 600 mil today. It's like my best release day ever. And this was the moment where I knew Jagex had messed up the enrage system. I had hoped that it could be fluid between group sizes, and that if we pushed to 40% in 5-man, we could then keep pushing when one of our group members had to go. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. After we did a 50% 4-man, it set our max group enrage to 10%, so that means that every group size has its own enrage. This threw away everything I wanted out of group enrage. I wanted to be fluid with teams just from 3 to 4 to 5, and push all over the place as people are available. But with each one being individual, it meant I was kind of hard stuck on 5-man now, as I had already made progress to 40%. It's not ideal, and I was kind of angry at the system, so I made the decision after about 10 hours of group runs to swap over to solo, and the goal was to push to 100% and get a kill at 100% by the end of the night. So I went ahead and I got a greater demon task, because the demons inside Zammy are greater demons, and they have very high defense, very high HP, and I have 360 of these, so that should last me a good deal of solos. 7 mil in loot, that's actually not half bad. Let's re-roll it, and 4 mil in loot. Yes! Did it! Whew! That took way too long. I stayed up way too late to do this. I only started doing solo range around 5 p.m. and it's now 5 a.m. And I accidentally left the instance. I can't gloat in there, but I did it. I'm somewhere on the high scores now. I'll probably go check this as soon as I loot here, but let's grab a Luck of the Dwarves. So collect boss loot. Oh shit! Vestment of Havoc boots. Well, that woke me up. 205 mil here. Let's see what they sell for. Like, the top and bottoms are near max cash, and the boots are part of, like, the important part of the set, so maybe they are just as good. So they sold 785 mil. A little unfortunate. I was thinking it was going to be in the bills, but they're bound to drop over time with so many people doing the piece of content. I'll be able to rebuy these later, but that's another 800 mil made today. So release day is over. Let's look at the chest and see what we got. I did a total of 23 runs today. Picked up one item on the collection log, the Vestment of Havoc boots. And I now have 10 solo kills and 13 group mode kills. With my kind of slow kill time, in fact, it's the third slowest 100% kill time, but it is a kill time. I am currently ranked 37 on the solo high scores, and I'm going to come back to it tomorrow and maybe try to push a little bit farther, figure out 100% higher, a little bit better. I think I just got a little lucky on that kill, but yeah, I'm liking this boss. We're going to make the push to 250%. I picked up 3 splits. Max cash on the first item, which was 400 mil. The next item sold for 1.2, so that was 240. And then mine sold for that 785. So if you take all those together, that's about 1.8 bill. And then with my 91 mil in the chest here, I've picked up pretty much 2 bill over the course of a single day. Though it was a long day, I've basically been playing for 20 hours, though I did take breaks. And yeah, 100 mil an hour. I woke up on the second day and I was at 23 kills, having done the 13 group runs early and the 10 solo runs pushing late. At this point I was like, well, I'm 2 away from unlocking the skip. I have 100% max in rage. Let's just do 2 runs of the dungeon to see how the skip works. About an hour later, the 2 runs were complete and I unlocked the skip by completing the achievement Conqueror of Chaos. This gives you a Chaos Witch outfit as well, which is nice. With the skip obtained and my max and rage being 100% for my solos, the plan was to do boss clears all the way up to 100% and then potentially camp 100% to get good at it and have some fun. I will say that I had so much more fun killing the boss back to back than just doing the dungeon into the boss and then repeating it, it really increased the life cycle of this boss for me. And on top of that, I felt like I could actually learn the boss by doing it back to back. You start to notice things that you didn't notice when there was a 30-minute gap between kills.
Split Chaos Roar on a 100% kill. And I got 4.7 mil worth of loot. And prices have come down a little bit, so the Chaos Roar is under a bill, so that is 325 mil GP.
This is where Jagex messed up a second time. You were actually able to push beyond your max enrage, climbing up to 250. We now know that the intent is that you run the dungeon to 250% and then you can skip, but at the time, it was a little ambiguous and we really didn't know what was going on. Maybe it was the 20 hours of RS followed by 4 hours of sleep that made my brain mush, but we just kind of went for it. We hadn't really refined the strategy for Phase 7 yet, but our success rate was above 50% at this point. I'd say probably in the 2/3 to 3/4. And for the 200% kill, we were able to get it in 2 attempts. The Phase 7 strategy will get refined later on by virtue of having the skip and being one of the few people in the entire game to have it. We were able to zoom to 200% world's first broadcast, and a couple hours later, with the head start from the skip, get the first 300%. In retrospect, we probably should have left the broadcast alone and camped 190% until the other 2 teams that were running the full dungeon, but I think it kind of all worked out well in the end. The 2 teams were able to claim the first 500% and first 1000% respectively, so they still have their own things to brag about and their time in the sun, and really who cares about first 200% or first 300%. And with the broadcast going to us, it made it very public. This led to Jagex clarifying how it worked and keeping it in the game for everyone, which I think is a net benefit as the HP scaling was insane above 100% for the dungeon, and I don't think many players would have got to 250%, they probably just would have rage quitted before and camped lower in rage.
Let's go, Chaos Roar Ability Codex. That is on our 310% kill. So we're working our way to 400. I don't think we'll be the first. But we'll get there. We'll get there, and let's see how much it sells for. But that is the second item to the collection log. It sold for 720 mil, so that means we get to keep 240 mil.
Around 300%, we refined our P7 strategy and split it up into 3 roles: Debuffer, Rune Killer, and Anchor. The Rune Killer focuses the demon ASAP, the Anchor helps with the demon as well. The Debuffer's job is while we were waiting for the runes to spawn, they Smoke Cloud, Vuln, and Shard the boss. The Rune Killer is waiting ready to attack, and the Anchor is lowering the back 2 runes to about 10k each. Those are Lambda and I. When the first rune spawns, we all pile it, though if it's a back rune, the debuffer doesn't go, as it takes them too far to get there. Then we tsunami the second rune, with the final rune being left for the Anchor, so they can kill it, and we can be all set up on the boss. We go to our spots at Zammy, the debuffer behind, and the Rune Killer to the side, to staff spec and ultimate. Once the final rune is dead, unleash all the DPS. At this enrage, and HP bar of Vitality Pop plus Disruption Shield is enough to survive the big explosion, and if you need any extra damage reduction, then you can debilitate the 4 autos. And this rotation and method should last us till at least 500% when we start having to do the odd 2-cycle Phase 7.
Common loot is stacking up. I got 4 rare relics here. I think how it works is like for every X amount of enrage, you get a roll on the common table. Maybe it's 20. Or even 10. Because there's a lot of different items here, and I've had up to 14 before. So we're going to bank that, and we're at 11.2 mil. We got 100 enrage to go for the title. I think we're probably going to try to get that tomorrow, I think. Pushing it after I get off work. I've messed up my Sunshine one too many times, so I'm going to buy the Greater Sunshine Ability Codex. And it bought for 848 mil. And when we read this, we now have Greater Sunshine. Let's see what the icon looks like. Oh, it's got a little link on it. And that basically means we no longer need our Planted Feet swap because it'll last for 38 seconds. Regardless. So I can put away this Augmented Ancient Lantern. And I'm also going to upgrade it to a T90 shield in my preset. just so I get a little more healing from my reses, and all my defensives will be a little more effective, I believe, because I'm basically going from a T40 shield to a T90 shield.
The grind to 500% took a couple hours. I think being this high in rage forced me to understand exactly what's going on with Phase 7 rather than just brute forcing it with the Staff of Armadillo and a meta rotation. Around the 450% point, we stopped consistently one cycling and instead were two cycling. This means surviving a second explosion and a second melee hit. Reflect or Immortality are key for that. But once you survive that second melee hit and second explosion, you can take a lot of time because Zammy here had 80k HP left, so we were never going to get hit by that big red bar again, and we just wanted to get ourselves fully set up to be able to dump as quick as possible. Once we understood how this two-cycle process worked, we got ourselves through the 500% kill.
Hey, Lords of Chaos! Ooh, the three of us pushed all the way from 0 to 500 together, and now we're looking at each other to see if we have any things, but we don't. So there's not going to be any rare drops in here, but that is 500% in rage. On day number 3, I think I'm going to go look at the high scores and figure out what number we are. We're probably in like the 40th to 50th person to get it. So looking at the high scores, we're the 4th team to get a trio kill at 500%, not too shabby. And looking at the overall high scores, there's about 75 people that have it right now, so top 75. And by doing 500% in a group, we got this Chaos Witch Adept outfit. It actually looks kind of good with the staff. I like the helm, but I might change around some of the things and incorporate it in, but I think I'm going to keep the hat on. And we also get a title, I think it's, Lord of Chaos. It's red for now, but at 2,000 and 4,000, there's silver and gold. I don't think I'm going to go for that. 500 was enough for me. It started to get pretty difficult by the end of it. And maybe once better metas are out, I'll go farther, but for now, just sticking with 500. One thing I want to do is sell all my Crypt Bloom. The boss came out, so Crypt Bloom is extremely expensive. So I'm going to make all these items and then sell them and see how much I made. Basically, that's kind of why I held on to these items, because I knew I didn't need them, and Zammy was coming out, and Crypt was potentially going to be good. And even stuff like the gloves and the boots are also really good because, well, people are wearing 5 out of 5. And before, a lot of people didn't own the gloves and the boots because never really wanted 5 out of 5 for anything. So the top and bottom seem to be about 900 mil. Okay, so they all insta-sold. The top sold for 900. The bottom sold for 852 each. The boots sold for 287. And the gloves sold for 64. So I emptied my cash stack, and I'm going to see how much I'm going to get. It'll be like 2.6 bill. It was 3 bill. Okay, my Crypt Bloom sold for 3 bill, or like 2.95 bill. And I think before it was only max cash. Yeah, all things considered, I made like 500, 800 mil just holding on to that. The shard stack is up to 1140 mil. Haven't hit 80 bill yet. But that should get close soon enough.
The day after getting our 500% group kill, we decided to try out some mid-in-rage claims, just doing 200 to 300% back-to-back to see what fits the best, and 275% seemed to be a good benchmark for us, as we could stun once per phase. Any lower in rage, and we were dealing with cooldown issues just sitting around waiting for Sunshine and Staff Spec to come back, and any higher in rage, we were dealing with more mechanics, slowing down the kill overall. For the very first kill of the day, Denny picked up a blank codex. These seem to be way more common than the armor or bow pieces, so I think I might have like 10 to 20 of these by the time I complete this log. I don't know what it is about pushing, but there's something about it that I just find addicting. One more kill, 10% more enrage, and as my friends have moved on to doing lower enrage claims, I couldn't do that while I could go push some more, especially with free Death Week around. So I moved to solo with the goal of getting the solo title and pushing my way up there. I think what I find attracting about pushing is that there are so many walls. You do a strategy and it works for 100% in rage, and then you need to completely overhaul your method to get through the next wall. I've already ran into 3 or 4 so far. One thing I added into my solo pushes is the Hellhound Familiar. It has a special ability where it takes 20% of damage that you would take. This is extremely vital for Zammy, as I'm able to maintain my HP for phase 1 to 6 with Soul Split and Blood Barrage, and then on phase 7 the Hellhound comes in clutch to give me more survivability. I think overall the Hellhound takes more damage than a full mammoth full of food. My pad order for my 500% kill was 214653, which if you haven't killed Zammy probably sounds a lot like gibberish, but the really cool part about the pad order is that it's reversed on phase 7, so anything you build up stacks for gets taken away on the final phase. My main goal is having the 2 pad early, as it gives you the execute bar. This way I can get as low as 5% HP on phase 7 without being executed by Zammy, which is very valuable when you're taking a metric fuck ton of damage. I also chose to have pad 1 twin shot early, as that way I take less damage on the phase 7 autos, as twin shot seems to work with them. And finally, pad 4 disintegrate is taken early so that defensives are more powerful on phase 7. I've gone through many rotations, and it's going to change again in the future, as I'll likely need to move pad 4 even earlier to get better defensive usage, and potentially move pad 6 later to do even more DPS. My phase 7 rotation is pretty simple. Once the first rune has spawned, I Omni, Power, and Tsunami the first rune. That normally kills it, but sometimes I need to throw in a Greater Conch at the end of it. And then I move on to the second rune with Staff Spec and swapping to Blood Barrage. I need to make sure to look for the second rune, because sometimes you're so focused on killing that first rune you forget to even look at the screen to figure out what the second rune is. Once the second rune is dead, I meta and Adrenaline pot to get my Adrenaline up there and start doing DPS. For the big explosion with the red hit, I Disruption Shield and Vitality pot. It helps me stay alive. And then I try to get off Omni Power, Tendrils, Shatter, and Wild Magic to do all my DPS. This should last me till about 600%, where I'll need to learn how to 2-cycle, as I won't be able to consistently do 200k damage by myself in that window.
First try. Hell yeah. Let's go. 500% enrage in a solo encounter. We made it. So I get to put on the Wrath of Chaos title. So title-wise, I can put on Wrath of Chaos, which is the solo version. And you can't really leech the solo version, so it's probably a little bit more prestigious, but that is 500. But let's go get some loot. Let's actually see what we got. This kill, we got 10.5 mil. Pretty normal for this enrage. 10 mil a kill isn't too bad. Hopefully these commons also. 600% done. Means we have 1400 to go for the title. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but maybe we will. 10.4 mil. At least I'll get 10 mil a kill. Can't seem to get any rares. Oh, 1 cycle at 620. Sub 10 minute. I'm happy with that time. Ooh. And loot-wise, nothing special. I haven't really looked too much at the commons. Most of it should hold its value. I'm trying to think of, like, things that'll get cheaper. Maybe these Dwarfweed seeds and Lanthodime seeds will go down, but they're already so low. So most of the GP comes from alkables and stuff that's never going to really go down, like Rocktails. And here be the very last reroll token. I don't think I've gotten a single drop from them. Is it going to change now? No. But 12 mil? Not too shabby for like 1 kill. Takes me, what, like 12 minutes to do, so 4 or 5 an hour, assuming I don't be an idiot and die. So I'm making like 40, 50 mil an hour. up to 630, 37 kills to go for 1k. They extended Death Week by another week, so I think that might be my goal by the end of next week. Get all the way up to 1k. Oh, I got the pet! I got the pet! Yes! Hell yeah, the pet! Interesting how the broadcast comes up like before the kill time, but that is 146 kills, and I can finally get a clip of the animation here. Whenever you get a rare drop, an animation goes across your character. So when you pop out here, you can see the loot. But that was our 660th solo mode kill, so I'm happy with that. And we are pushing. Oh fuck! I got a double drop. What? I didn't even notice when I clicked on the chest. But yeah, Vestment of Havoc boots. That's a dupe. And the Jewels of Zamorak. That is a really cool thing. Okay, so we will take the Jewels of Zamorak and the Vestment of Havocs, and then we're going to bank both of them. Well, we're going to bank the rest of the loot, and I'm going to inspect the Jewels of Zamorak. So we now have Zamo the Rack, and for now, I'm going to override the Familiar, and then once I hit 500 KC, we'll unlock the pet skin for it. Collection log wise, we're now entering Dupe City already. I now have 2 Vestment of Havoc boots and 2 Chaos Roar ability codexes, and I'm probably going to keep this set of boots because I'm going to eventually buy them for myself, so might as well keep a pair of boots. But we're going to be here for a long time while we get these 3 pieces of the bow.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Boss Man. Made some progress on the collection log, getting to 3 out of 10 and getting both 500% titles at Zammy. With Free Death Week extended, I'm going to look to keep pushing up to 1k, but next time expect some Virago, maybe with the new bow. I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.